Oh, Eren's in the chapel. Shit.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let's React. I'm Kenny and this is Montana.
And today we're going to be reacting to Season 3, Episode 5 of Attack on Titan, Reply.
The scouts are on the run from the military police and really the entire government at this point. And yeah, things are not looking too great. How are you feeling going into this episode?
I'm really nervous for the scouts. Things really don't look good. I'm freaked out for them. Hopefully they can pull it together, but...
And the other thing is Erwin Smith is at his trial now.
I know, that's oof.
Are you a little nervous for him?
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, well, if you are excited to see what happens, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Also, check out the Patreon linked in the description below to see episodes early. We have currently watched episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I am editing them currently, and we will be posting them as soon as they're done editing. If you want to see those episodes early in their uncut, extended, ad-free form, check out the Patreon linked in the description below. Also, comment down below what anime you want us to watch next. We've really been loving seeing all the suggestions coming in. We want to hear from you what you want us to watch next. All right, I think that's about it. Are we excited for Season 3, Episode 5 of Attack on Titan?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get it.
Let's go.
Dunderheads, this video was brought to you by the incredible members of the Let's React Patreon. If you want access to a ton of exclusive perks, check out the link in the description below. Have a good day, Twinkle Toes!
Here we go.
Reply.
Season 3, Episode 5, Reply.
I always love trying to figure out before the episode what the title means. You know?
Truth made sense last episode with the whole, like, press and everybody hearing that concussion.
Yeah, exactly.
What's all that about?
You mean you haven't heard yet? Pretty much all of the military higher-ups are meeting inside the castle. They're finally disbanding the scout regiment. See? They're building those gallows to hang the commander from.
Not ideal.
He's probably getting his final judgment as we speak.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
When facing your enemy, you can't just guard with a shield. You need a spear to dispatch the threat. If you disband the scout regiment, it will be akin to humanity tossing its spear aside. Suppose that in this very instant, Wall Rose was breached. Once again, half of humanity would be forced to flee, this time to Wall Sina. But the earlier evacuation left us with only a few more days' worth of supplies at best.
No rations.
And when they run out, locals and refugees will be forced to fight for survival. Wall Rose and Wall Sina, all of humanity would split, and a civil war would quickly erupt. Even if the walls are not breached again, Wall Rose is suffering from a perpetual shortage of food. It may not be Titans that breach Wall Sina. It's entirely possible that the residents of Wall Rose will do it first.
Yeah, they just can't maintain this.
Yeah, okay. One thing I want to ask before we keep going. Erwin Smith, probably one of his best characteristics is his ability to speak. Like his speech ability. Do you think that will save him here? Like, what do you think are his chances here?
I think given the fact that probably his biggest strength is the ability to take his thoughts and ideas and plans and convey them in a way that really convinces people and gets people going and gets them on his side and ready to fight, and now his life is literally on the line.
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't work, it's gonna be the biggest instance of him trying ever. I'm just concerned because anyone who is gonna execute him is not gonna readily listen to him. You know, like I feel like they've really already made up their minds.
They're kind of the judge, jury, and executioner.
They're so corrupt that they're really not here thinking like, let's hear what he says and then decide.
Wall Maria must be reclaimed. If humanity is to have any hope for the future, then that is the way.
And you think that such an undertaking requires the scouts?
Our duty as scouts has ever been to charge forth at the enemy. Cowering in wait behind these walls will solve nothing. That's my belief. Unless you have some sort of secret plan by which we might overcome this ordeal.
Not in like a mean way, in like a someone beat the shit out of him way.
How are they going to take on
Commander,
Titans?
it seems you misunderstand what this is. The reason we brought you here is not to discuss our future within the walls, nor is it on account of something as simple as a murder. Clause 6 of the Charter of Humanity. One must never prioritize their own gain over humanity's survival. You've broken the most sacred of laws.
Indeed.
How?
You have refused to hand over Eren Yeager time and time again, and through this selfish
God,
action,
they're
you violated
stupid.
our charter.
But Eren is vital for the reclamation of Wall Moria.
That is not for the scouts to determine.
Eren Yeager
Kind
is
of
a
is.
titan whose
They're
abilities are
too
far from
stupid to
understood.
realize it. Yeah,
to
it
shelter
is.
him within our walls is to put all of humanity at risk. And the very idea of allowing a single commander to have control of him is absurd.
As shown by the way you maliciously schemed against the state. Not only did you feign his abduction in order to conceal his whereabouts, you also slew Demo Reeves when he learned too much. This amounts to blatant treason.
It's not a stretch to describe you as a threat to humanity.
Commander
Yes, it
Pixis,
is.
The garrison and scout regiments frequently risk their lives side by side on the front lines. How are we to know that you aren't working together now?
I am deeply disturbed to hear that you believe we would align ourselves with the Scout Regiment. There is nothing more senseless than humans killing each other. In this cramped bit of world that's been left to us, it would take but a single spark to engulf all. Just before the battle to retake Trost began, I said as much to the men I lead, and then sent hundreds to their deaths. If the Scout Regiment is that fatal spark, then it should be smothered at once. Think about it. What if the Titans did manage to break through the wall only to find next to no one inside it? The poor monsters might have to go hungry.
Very well then. Let's
They
begin
don't eat
deliberations.
for hunger, stupid.
So, do you buy what Pixis is saying, or like, what do you think his deal is right now?
I think he's trying to separate himself from the scouts for his own benefit and the benefit of the people he controls, which, like, I get. Like, obviously, if the government is completely demonizing the scouts and has decided that the scouts are done, aligning yourself with the scouts is not a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that he believes that. It's just the smart call at this point.
Your Majesty, with your permission.
Still hasn't said a word.
Real great leadership.
Erwin, is this how you want it to end?
Now then, in the King's name, I'll announce your final judgment. Commander Erwin Smith, you have been found guilty of violating Clause 6 of the Charter of Humanity.
That didn't take long.
Your sentence is death. Your execution will be carried out at once. Take him.
Erwin, is this what you wanted?
It's not looking good.
No.
What about your dream?
He's not upset. He's got something planned.
Walrose has fallen! The gates have been breached!
Okay.
It was just like Walmaria. The armored and
That's quite
colossal
the
titans appeared out
coincidence.
of thin air and broke through both gates in Colonist District. Currently, countless refugees are flooding this way from the east.
Secure an evacuation
Not
route.
good.
Order all available garrison troops to make for the eastern front and defend the people. We must get those evacuees into Walsina. Hurry and go. Saving the people is our highest priority.
Sir! No, wait! I want every last gate to Walsina closed off. Not a single refugee will be allowed inside this wall.
Wow.
All those people, everyone in Walrose will die. You're
He doesn't
commanding us to
care.
stand by while half of humanity gets devoured?
Like Erwin said, if we let them in, then we'll end up in a civil war. The rule of law must be protected above all. The government mustn't fail.
We can't be sure.
So they're
It's only a
sacrificing
possibility.
everyone.
There's
Yeah.
no guarantee that will.
It's enough that the possibility exists. Our authority is and must always be absolute. Now follow your orders.
Wow.
Pretty harsh.
Talent.
Disappointing but
the wall
not
would end up
surprising.
First of all, you haven't heard about Reiner and Bertolt in a while.
No, so they're back.
So,
We really haven't seen them.
that was good timing, though.
Yeah, really good timing. No, I do not think that actually happened. I think it's a ploy. The combination of the timing being directly after he was sentenced to death and the fact that his reaction was not typical of someone who had just been sentenced to death. Like, there's like being brave and stoic and like not wanting to show weakness right before you die, and like I get that, like wouldn't be me, but like I understand it. That wasn't the look on his face, you know? So
that was a guy with a plan.
Exactly. He was like, all right, this is exactly what I wanted to happen.
I think that the wall would end up getting breached at a time like this.
Although there is a silver lining here, we've already secured the power. Before too long, the vessel will take it, and then our problems will end.
Very well. This is far from ideal, but there's no point in losing our composure here. We still have one wall, and Lord Reiss should be back soon.
Agreed. We're still safe for now.
The vessel. What vessel? Who's the vessel?
And they said they had the power.
What is the vessel and the power? And it brings up Lord Reiss again.
Interesting thoughts.
That is really interesting. The king is what is the king doing? The king's just sitting here.
Yeah. Just King Fritz.
We have orders. Let's get those gates closed. Hold on. The refugees are coming now.
Who should decide? Who has the right?
What's taking so long? Go do your duty.
This is a massive moral dilemma. Well, not really, but.
Well, I guess I'm a traitor.
Yeah, following your duties
exactly.
Sir, I can't. I am a citizen of Wall Rose. I refuse to shut the gates on those people. You dare to
His wife and kid are there.
Yeah.
Premier Zachary.
The judge from
Did
earlier.
Did you find the way they reacted surprising? Or was it expected?
Surprising? Not a bit.
Premier Zachary, what's the meaning of this?
That report you all just heard was fabricated. There's no cause for alarm. As of this moment, there have been no reports of any Titan attack.
Bastard! This was all a farce?
Genius.
It wasn't his plan. It was mine.
Pixis?
It would appear that most of the interior police are off rounding up scouts somewhere, which worked out nicely for me.
What are you saying?
When you asked me, I declared to you in earnest that the garrison regiment is not aligned with the Survey Corps. But I forgot to mention something else. We are not aligned with your assembly either. That's right. Although I agree with Erwin on several points, I was still willing to put my trust in your government. So long as you could prove yourselves to be the better choice for humanity.
Was a big test, and they failed.
And
failed miserably.
About both the Titans and the walls. Had you shown that you actually gave a damn about protecting the people you govern, I would have stood by and watched as you sent Erwin to the gallows. In fact, depending on the choice you made, all of us were prepared to forfeit our lives. However, you've made it clear that our suspicions were correct.
Isn't this intense, though?
Brilliant.
Right? Like this whole gamble, it really, like Erwin, backed against the wall, was like, we're gonna act like it happened and then...
And see what they would do.
Right?
And they're gonna prove that they're fucking awful.
Right?
Yeah.
I love Erwin.
You've made it clear that our suspicions were correct. It's true that we soldiers know next to nothing about the Titans and their powers. But I dare say that despite this fact, humanity is safer in our hands.
What? Don't be such a fool! Just what do you expect to accomplish by threatening us? You'll fail! The people will never obey you! The monarchy has ruled for over 100 years! You would never gain the support of the nobles!
It would appear that you've misunderstood what this is. You see, it's far more than a mere threat. It's a coup d'etat.
Nice.
Let's go.
Interior police have been subdued. The capital is secured, sir.
Well done. To be a soldier.
They did it.
Can sometimes mean obeying your commander over your king.
And that's especially true when the king's a pretender. He'll be exposed and replaced.
Hasn't moved.
This is real? You plan to... Don't think for 1 second that this coup has a sliver of legitimacy.
Given the scenario you were presented with, your choice to close Cena's gates broke Clause 6 of the Charter of Humanity.
Boom. Uno reverse.
You installed a puppet king in order to seize the reins of power for yourselves.
And the gallows are already up.
Treason.
So...
They're all ready.
Yeah. Convenient.
What a move.
Shit! Wait a minute!
What is it, dinner time?
Oh, shut your mouth, you stupid oaf!
Literally not even...
Completely unaware of what's going on.
Yep.
Well, Erwin, looks like you managed to pull it off. Wait, you don't seem happy. I'm thinking. Humanity is on a new path.
No.
One far more dangerous than the last.
Like, when there's not a government in charge, like, even if it's a bad government, there's going to be a lot of unrest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But wow, what a scene, right?
Yeah, for real.
Now we're back to Levi and the gang.
Great.
God, every time he's on screen, I see a full physical and facial change. It's just, you're down bad.
I don't know. Yeah.
And there you have it.
Gang's back
the
together.
coup was successful. Premier Zachary now has full control of the capital and government. For the time being, at least. The nobles seem to be staying in line.
Okay, but what about the incident with Mr. Reeves?
We got a public confession out of one of the interior police. Reeves' son Flago really pulled through for us.
Come on, don't you get it yet? The government doesn't give a shit about saving any of us! You can face the truth now, or you can die wishing you had!
We have to do this! If Titans attack again, all the things you're protecting will be
newspaper
gone!
people.
Right.
There'll be no company! Our families will die! Let's print the truth before that happens!
It's all written right
now
there.
The people will know.
The abuse of power, the bogus charges against the scouts, and that King Fritz was both a puppet and a fraud. It's clear that we only acted in self-defense. In short, we're no longer criminals.
So that's great, but now there's a power vacuum.
Good point.
But temporarily, this is fun.
Yeah.
They beat us? Looks like Erwin's gamble paid off.
That it did. But it wasn't just Erwin who gambled. Many people had to make a lot of hard choices for this to work.
Yeah.
It was a very complicated web.
Yeah.
Whereas my choices got
Somehow
3 of
ended
your
up all
people
working
killed.
out.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing, the Interiors may have lost, but not all of them know it.
Sad
They
that
still
he
have
feels
Eren
responsible
and
for that.
Historia too. We need to
They
find
still
them
have
quickly.
Eren
Right.
and Historia.
I think I know where they might be. Let's get there and put an end to this fight.
Largely due to Erwin's actions, it was declared that the old system of rule would be dismantled. Once the military had secured the capital, they made the announcement immediately. The declaration was given from the very gallows that Erwin was meant to be executed on.
That's right. It's exactly as Premier Zachary explained in his speech. Please understand that our objective here is not to establish military rule. We intend to replace Fritz with a monarch born of the true royal bloodline. They'll be responsible for leading humanity, and that includes us.
I get what you're saying, but frankly, why should the people believe that your king is any more legitimate than the one you deposed?
I'm sure you
It's a fair point.
understand that
Yeah.
people are quite concerned. No one knows who to trust
Especially
at
because
this
she was kept hidden for so long. There's no reason to believe her.
For the sake of humanity.
Right?
Yeah.
It might have been better
And she's
to
not
let
even
that
a legitimate
government
child.
stand. Like Commander Pixis was saying, they have far more knowledge than us, and they've kept humanity going at least this far.
They know more.
Even if they would have
Yeah.
watched as half of the human race perished, it's better than letting us go extinct. Should I have given up? Let them take Eren? Surrendered my life and put my comrades at risk? And put my trust in their selfish wisdom? Too late now. Instead, I endangered us all.
He just will not
Your
give himself
duty
a
is as
break.
painful a burden as ever, I see.
Never does.
Perhaps
No.
death would have been easier for you.
Literally.
So tell me, why didn't you do as you just described?
I'm not sure.
Why don't I tell you my own reason? I've hated those arrogant bastards for a long time! Those self-assured pigs. They'd feed from gilded troughs and pretend their
They
shit was
deserve it.
gold. Know what? I think I might grow to like them. Now that the day I've dreamed of has finally come to pass. Well, at any rate, if you hadn't done it today, I would have given it a shot myself before I kicked the bucket. I honestly couldn't care less about how this coup of ours ends up affecting the fate of humanity. I guess I'm quite the scoundrel, huh? I'm telling you this
He was just
because
sick
I
of
know
the
that you're the
leaders.
same.
Yeah.
You made the choice that would keep you alive. Some part of you decided that humanity's fate only mattered if you could live to see it.
I must be incredibly conceited to think that.
It's your turn to answer now. Why did you risk it all just to bring them down?
I've had this dream. Something to prove. Ever since I was a child.
All right, so they're heading to Rod Reiss's estate.
Said you might know where they are. Oh yeah, guess I should explain how. Erwin gave me this scout report from an investigation on Lord Reiss's land. It details a certain incident that occurred 5 years ago on the Reiss estate.
5 years?
That's right. It was the day Wall Maria was breached. I'll summarize the most important parts from the beginning.
Buckle up.
So, as far as regional lords went, Lord Reiss was fair and well respected by the people. He had 5 children. The most well-known of them was his eldest daughter, Frida. She was a down-to-earth girl who even the peasants adored. But 5 years ago, on that night, disaster struck. With the fall of Wall Maria having plunged the world into chaos, bandits raided and set fire to the only chapel around. Unfortunately for them, the entire Reiss family had gathered there to pray. And so, the entire family was massacred by bandits that night, save one. Only Rod Reiss managed to escape with his life. To top it all off, this incident occurred just a few days before Historia's mother was killed by the Interior Police. So we know that in the immediate wake of losing his family, Rod Reiss sought out Historia. And something tells me that it wasn't out of a newfound paternal affection.
Well, she is of royal blood. Or do you think that bloodline has some other secret?
It's possible, but I'm not sure yet. What really stood out to me, at least, was the fact that large parts of the chapel were destroyed. The chapel was built from stone. It would take a lot of time and effort to destroy it. If it was bandits, they'd have taken what they could and made a quick escape. Also, Lord Reiss was the only witness. No one confirmed his story. Damage. Then Lord Reiss rebuilt the chapel with his personal fortune almost immediately. What was his rush?
Sequence of events: Wall Maria falls, bandits attack the chapel, and Lord Reiss's family, everybody except him, dies. And so remember, you were like, what happened to the rest of his family? Yikes.
That's sad.
Yeah, but and then immediately afterwards, he went and found Historia.
Right, so it has to be like an error thing.
The story could only make sense if it involved a Titan attack. It may turn out that I'm jumping to conclusions.
You're a lot like
but it's
Hanji.
suspicious enough to merit
So
investigation.
nice.
And it's the only lead we have.
Oh, Eren's in the chapel. Shit.
Not ideal.
Someone's gonna try to eat him.
Well, that didn't look like a chapel.
They were talking about something earlier, and they called it the something chapel, but it was like not an actual chapel.
Gotcha.
I think, but it was the concept of like a pillar in the middle, and then someone in the middle chained. Yeah, and that's like the situation Eren was in, which, like, based on what we know, has to be like Titan food.
Not good.
Unfortunately.
First we've seen of him in a while.
Yeah. No, I saw his eye, and I was like, their eyes look like Eren, whoever that is.
Before the night is over, Reiss's land will be crawling with our soldiers. Unfortunately, we can't expect him to wait that long. We have to get there as soon as possible, before Eren ends up in someone's stomach.
A Titan gains intelligence and the power to transform by eating a human being with that power. If that's actually true, how and when did Eren first become a Titan? And who did he have to eat to gain his powers?
Sorry.
Historia?
And that is where we are left for this episode. The cliffhangers are deadly in this show.
Literally. Okay.
Yep, so...
All right.
That happened.
Great.
Any first thoughts before we jump into the discussion?
Armin's recent observation is really interesting because there are two things going on, right? So we know that the process to become a Titan shifter involves becoming a Titan and eating another Titan shifter. Also, Armin has known Eren most of his life. And, like, obviously he wasn't a Titan during like that part of their relationship. So it needed to have happened beforehand in theory, but he was just a kid. Age thing is really throwing me for a loop because I feel like a young Eren wouldn't have been able to keep that secret. He was way too impulsive, and he told everything to Armin and Mikasa. So...
Well, one thing to remember is that Ymir, when she transformed, didn't remember it.
Okay, all right. So, lack of memory. Okay.
So yeah, lots to unpack there.
Yeah.
We're going to do it in the discussion section, but before we do that, please make sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe down below if you enjoyed that episode. Really, any engagement with the post really helps spread it around, so if you've been enjoying this series, please engage with it any way you can. Share it with your friends. Also, check out the Patreon linked in the description below if you want to see episodes early, including episodes 6, 7, and 8, which have already been posted in their extended uncut forms. Also, you can ask us the questions that we're going to answer in our discussion section. We have a lot to discuss, but before we do that, where are we headed?
All right, let's go to the episode verdict.
All right, so thank you for watching that episode. For now, we're going to get to questions given to us by our Patreon members. Join at any level using the link in the description below to start asking questions. For now, let's get to question 1. Xylon Infinity asks, what do you think about the accusation that Erwin violated the 6th clause of the Charter of Humanity, thou shalt not prioritize one's own gain over the survival of humanity? What do you think of them accusing him of that?
I think the idea that he was violating that clause really just shows how self-centered they are, because they think going against them is the same thing as prioritizing yourself over humanity, when in reality the idea behind that clause is really left to the individual, right? Any individual's perception of what is best for humanity or what is actually like sacrificing themselves for humanity is going to be different. The only real way to determine that is by looking at like the way they were thinking. And I think just based on everything we know about Erwin and his history and his decisions so far show that in his decision to hide Eren, he was thinking of the future of humanity. He wasn't making that decision for his own benefit. So I don't think that clause is really relevant. I do think that clause is really relevant when the guy was like, nope, shut the gates.
Yeah, like he accused him and
literally, like the hypocrisy. Oh my God. But I feel like that situation is a very clear instance of like, I am valuing myself over humanity. Like that was like, close the gates to protect me and screw everyone else.
Yeah.
And while there are like different sides to what Erwin was doing, like sure, you could think like, well, okay, the government said to hand it over and he decided not to, so that's going against like whatever. At least there's like some justification, right?
Yeah.
Like from his perspective, he was doing what he thought he needed to do in order to uphold those standards. So yeah.
All right. I think that's a fantastic answer. I'm going to ask the second question, which is a bit open-ended. What do you think of Historia approaching Eren, who is in chains? Like just that whole situation.
That, okay, freaked me out a little bit because it does make it seem like she's complicit in the sense that I would have expected her to see that and go, oh my God, how can I help you? Like, let me figure out a way to like get these chains undone or like at least find someone to help. She walked in like she knew what she was gonna see, and then she looked at him like it was what she expected to see, and then did and said nothing. So that's not looking great. That combined with the idea that we know like the bad guys are trying to figure out who can eat Eren in order to monopolize those powers is really scary now that Historia is the rightful heir. So I don't know. I don't want to not like Historia. I like her character. Like I would be really disappointed if she ended up hurting Eren. But then at the same time, she's the new ruler, so hasn't
been crowned.
Really? There are so many pieces to this.
Montana, this is just the way it... Yeah.
Okay, she's not in charge yet, but she is the rightful heir, and if things go the way they're supposed to, she will be in charge. None of this makes any sense.
Yeah, it's a real conundrum.
It really, really is.
But not ideal with her approaching him like that.
No, that didn't look good.
Yeah, I think that we're going to go ahead and end it there. Last question comes from Jenna the Bread Queen. How do we feel about Pixis following this episode? Because he presented a unique opinion. He was like, I was fully prepared to follow your decision if you had not damned humanity and had chosen to keep Walsina open with refugees, but the second that you did that, I was against it. What do you think of him?
I think for a military leader in a chain of command, that is about as responsible as you could possibly hope for, in the sense that you will follow orders and listen to the chain of command until it's proven that they are going against what they have said they value. So, yeah, I mean, I thought that was great.
Yeah. So Pixis, maybe a player moving forward.
Yeah, that turned out really well.
All right, I think that's about it for this episode. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below if you had a good time, and check out the Patreon linked in the description below if you want to see episodes 6, 7, and 8, which are already posted to the Patreon now. If you want to see episodes early and ask us the questions after every episode, we've already watched episodes 6, 7, and 8, so we're going to be posting those soon. And if you want to see them as soon as they come out, check out the Patreon. All right, I think that's about it. Are we excited for episode 6 of season 3 of Attack on Titan?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get it.
Let's go.